Hello everyone, hope you're doing good. So in this video, and this is one of the biggest or most important video I've ever made, because most of the time I'm just covering a workflow or a concept or small MVP landing pages that I've built. However, here I'm trying to cover a whole tool in best of my knowledge, and I am going to share 2 to 3 years of experience. I think 2 years of experience of using Midjourney almost every other day with you. So it's gonna be like a beginner level course, but with little bit of like intermediary and some sprinkles of advanced features and ideas. Okay, so you land on Midjourney's landing page by going to midjourney.com, and it will lead you to this page where you have to sign up or either log in if you have an account, or if you don't have an account and you don't want to even sign up, you can just click on explore, and it will take you to the explore page. And this is the explore page. Here you can see a bunch of videos, and there is another thing called images. So if you click on images, you will see the images created by the users of Midjourney. There is another thing called styles. You don't have to worry about it, but we will cover it later on. However, these are styles, and these things that you see when I'm hovering over it is the style code or style reference code. So we will cover that. Let's go back. Maybe I'll click on Midjourney, this thing again, and we are back to the landing page where we can log in, sign up. So if you're getting the account for the first time, of course you will sign up. And Midjourney is something that you cannot use for free. You have to buy the subscription. I think the cheapest subscription on monthly basis is around $10. The second one is around $30, and I think there is $60, and another one is probably $120. And if you go for yearly subscription, you can save some money. And if you are going to buy the subscription around like year end or Black Friday, I think you will get even better deals. Okay, anyways, I have an account. I have a yearly account which is going to expire next month. So let me just log in and let's begin discussing Midjourney. So here are a bunch of things on the left hand side. If you see a couple of options that we will cover one by one. So the explore page is something that we already sort of discussed and I've shown already. There is create button where you create the images, and I will cover this along with the edit feature or edit button as well, because once we have covered the little bit of theory, we will start building or creating images, prompting in Midjourney. So edit, create, we will cover later. Personalize. So if I open personalize, it simply says that it teaches Midjourney about what you find beautiful, or basically what you feel like is your style or go-to taste in different images. So you don't have to use it, you don't have to create it, it's not mandatory. However, I will show you the examples, and I will show you how using personalization or building profile. So by personalization, you mean that you have to build a profile, and by profile simply I'll quickly show you that if you have to create a if you have to tell Midjourney what is your taste in terms of personalization, you will have to create a profile, and you click on here, new profile, and you will have to rank a bunch of images. Minimum you have to rank 200 images. This will give Midjourney sort of good amount of data in terms of what kind of images you go for, and don't take stress about like whether this is something Midjourney will keep it as like fixated, or whenever you want to create images, it's not mandatory. You can turn off and on this personalization. So if you see, it's already on. So you see this P button, which stands for personalization, it's turned on, and there is some code that represents that. But if I turn it off, it goes away. So it is under your control, don't worry about it. Then there is a thing called mood boards. So mood boards is something like more personalized, or you can say it's more according to your taste, and it's more targeted, meaning you can create a mood board where you can upload images that you have on your system that probably represent a particular style or particular aesthetic or a mood, and you can upload those images on Midjourney. Or let's say you find it on Pinterest and you link those URLs of those images, that can also be done. Or you can rank your own images, or you can select your own generated images to create a mood board. Okay, we will cover mood boards later. It's just a theory, let's not stress too much about it. But sometimes people create images using personalization on and mixing it with their mood boards, and people who are in the advanced side of Midjourney, they use mood boards heavily and personalization heavily. So we'll cover that later. Then organize is just a place where all the images that you have generated are present. So you can search your images. You can have like you can filter them by the profile is the same thing like personalization. There are a bunch of other filters also, images that you've liked, unrated, grade, subscale, blah blah blah. So it's just like file management or folders that you can create. You can bulk download. Yeah, okay, so this is okay, straightforward. Now we have chat option, which is cool feature, but I don't use it much often. You go to lobby and you will see there are a lot of or a bunch of chat groups or chat rooms where people are interacting with each other, and they can do voice communication also. But I don't think a lot of people use it. As you can see, like a lot of the groups that are there, only newbies is active, and it has probably 4 people, so you can ignore it. Then tasks, I think task is okay. This is one of the coolest things about Midjourney, and maybe a lot of people don't put a lot of time into it, but it is very useful. How? Okay, let's say you have a subscription. At least this is how I use it. I have a subscription for $30 per month, and it's a yearly subscription, so it costs me around 24. But that is not important. Every month I will get 15 hours of usage. However, these things like ranking style grids, ranking style images, and if I open, I can rank a bunch of images by clicking left or right, and after ranking a bunch of them, I might be among the top 2000 users or rankers, and that gives me 1 hour each day of Midjourney usage, extra 1 hour. So there is a chance that if you are doing it every day, like let's say 30 days, you can earn 30 hours. That's pretty good amount of hours. And you can do other ranking videos. There are so many features, there are so many options to rank. And anyways, there is a help button, then there is updates, there is a dark mode. Already I think I have dark mode turned on. I can turn on the light mode, it's quite bright. That's also cool. And there is this feature option where you can see your account settings, manage subscription, manage upload, go to Discord, Midjourney magazine, and that's about it. Nothing very important. So let's go back to the explore page, and I think, and I will suggest, like if you are using Midjourney for the first time or you use it occasionally, you should spend some amount of time on explore page, because it tells you what other people are creating, and it also inspires you. Midjourney's explore page is one of the best places for me to get inspiration, and I try to then emulate or recreate ideas in my own ways, and then from there I can build social media posts, or even let's say if I have to work with some clients or some people. I feel this is a very visually inspiring place. Okay, I think I've missed this thing. So okay, here you see there is a text box, and okay, let's go to create. So same text box stays in create and explore, and you can click and you can start typing, and you can write a prompt like a girl wearing a bandana, daytime, suburban, New York, sorry, New York, something like that. And I can of course write this prompt much better, but as you can see, the prompt is here, and there are a couple of things that are called parameters. But what do they mean? Let's wait for the image to load, and you will see that a girl wearing a bandana, and the prompt that we have written will create an image that have it will create 4 images every time. Okay, that's the standard for Midjourney. So let's look at the images, and then you can reflect upon how do you feel about it. And I think it's pretty good. Does it show New York? I'm not sure, but okay, it's none of my concerns. Anyways, once I open any of the images that we generated here, you will see a couple of things on the right hand side. So this is like a help us improve V7. So V7 is the current model of Midjourney. I started using Midjourney I think around V4 or V3. I don't remember exactly. So currently we are in the V7. So, and there have been some intermediate models also, like V5.1, 5.2, 6.1, and we have now V7, and V7.1 might come soon, or maybe we might jump on to V8. I'm not sure about it. I think I heard David, who is the founder of Midjourney, talking about V7.1, so maybe that's the next model or next version. There are a couple of options. This is hamburger icon where you can click on copy the prompt that we wrote. The job ID is just every generation or every time you're creating an image or creating a bunch of images in one by running one prompt, it will have some job ID. Okay, you can also, each image has a seed that represents all the different configuration or different prompt and all the values, and it, if you use the same seed, technically you should be able to create the same image time and time again. And I'm not going to cover that because that's a very advanced feature. However, it's still part of basics, but let's try to take a step back and cover the whole tool and its UI and its different features first. Then you can copy the image that is generated, and image URL. And image URL, I think, is used to be useful when we used to use Midjourney in the Discord, where you can where you were not able to upload the images as a reference, and we will do that. But over there we used to give reference of the images, uh, even from internet, and also the image that we created through the URL that it has, like its unique address. Like for example, if I open this image in new tab, here you might not be able to see it, but there is a URL or the web address of this image, or where it lives. Okay, so you will be able to copy that if you go for this option like copy image URL. Anyways, you can report an image, you can download the image, you can hide the image, you can open it on Discord. Now yeah, the other options are these features. So okay, we will go over them one by one, but before that I just want to go back to the text box. So here you see there is a image plus button. So if you click on that, it gives you a bunch of options here. Okay, so let's do that. I have to cover a couple of things, not that important. So here you have like start frame, image prompt, style reference, omni reference. So what's going on? Okay, starting frame was not there couple of months ago. It is something that has to do with Midjourney video, which is the new feature, or Midjourney can now create videos. So we will cover that. We will create videos once we start building or creating a bunch of images. So image prompt. So here you can give a reference of an image. Either you upload it or you have created it. So you can drag an image over there. For example, this thing. So let me drag it, and it is dragged as image prompt. Now that if I remove it here from here, you will see the starting frame is back. But now when we drop it as image prompt, Midjourney understood like these guys want to create images, so let's not give the feature of video, the start frame. So it is intelligent in that regard. Now you see something like style reference. So if let's say there is an image that you want to use, not the content of it, like let's say I don't want this woman to appear in my image, but I like the aesthetic and the feel of it. So you can use this as style reference. And there are a couple of other things also here that are important, and I will talk about it. But let's just focus on what you learned right now. The image can be used as this style reference here, and that's about it. Now there is a thing called omni reference. Omni reference is used for character consistency or object consistency, meaning if you want to create or recreate or create a bunch of images of a person or of an object, you will use this feature. Now it works 70 to 80% fine, but we will explore that after a while. So these are the three things that you can use, and maybe I can give the quick demo of how to use style reference. Let's do that. So I'll go back, I'll click somewhere or maybe outside. I'll again click on this, and this clicking on the prompt itself brings the prompt into the create section or the text bar or text input. The image is still there, the style reference. How do we use this images style and aesthetic? So already it is attached here, so Midjourney understand that we are using this as the style reference. However, how much of the style reference we want to use, or the quantity or weight of it, it can be determined by using the -SW style weight parameter. So I'm gonna, and it has a value of 0 to 1000. So using something like 300 is a good range. And if you don't put any value, the style weight will have 100 as a default value. Let's run the same prompt, but this time using the style reference of this image, and the weight of this image of its style should be around 300. So after a few seconds, you will be able to see that the same prompt which gave us these images is now giving us slightly different, stylistically, aesthetically separate or different images. So almost we are done 68%, and you can now feel that something is happening. It is matching this image's aesthetic and vibe. So okay, I'll just go to the last image. So this is the last image from the 4 images that we got, and now compare it with this. This is so different and so distinct. Even though the girl is wearing the bandana, she is probably in New York. I don't know, it's daytime because she has sunlight on her face, at least in most of the images. And yeah, it has the style that we're going for. Anyways, let's come back. Let's try to revise what we have discussed. We have talked about a couple of these options on the left hand side. Explore, create, edit we will cover. Personalize, mood boards we have talked about, but we have not done a experiment or an example of it. We will do that. Organize, similar to folder. Chat, nothing important. Task gives us fee, credits, hours. That's it. Okay, here we have not covered this settings button, so let's cover that. So click on settings and you will see a bunch of options here. Okay, so this is too much. Let's break it down one by one. The first section talks about the image size. So as you can see, we have 3 options: portrait, square, landscape. And once you click on these buttons, they jump to a certain value of aspect ratio, 3:4, meaning the length, the breadth, breadth, or the, let's call it length. This will be 3, and the 4. So meaning the image will be slightly longer and more longer in comparison to its width. Okay, maybe I'm confusing, but here you can see 3:4 means this. So this is 3 part and this is 4 part. Okay, so 3:4 or 4:5, or I think 4:5, if I'm not wrong. Okay, 3:4 we can create. 4:5 can we create? I don't think so. Yeah, so 3:4 is close to, is something that Instagram uses, and or maybe 2:3. And 9:16 is for the reels and the YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, and 16:9 is the cinematic or the movie aspect ratio. Okay, and square is also Instagram 1:1 images, and you know about these, but standard buttons take you to 3:4, 1:1, 4:3, but you can change the aspect ratio as per your own liking. The next section is aesthetics, stylization. Now, what is stylization? Stylization is the Midjourney feel or the Midjourney's aesthetics that it is known for. Okay, if you put the value as 0, Midjourney will not affect or apply any filter or style that it is known for. Highest value can be 1000 and lowest is 0. If you don't specify any value, it will be, by default, will be 100. However, that was the case earlier. Even though default value still stays 100, I think so. But now, because of this feature, if you have not set any value, it will probably be set as 100 by default, but you can change it. But if, let's say, you put it as 350, but in your prompt you change the value manually, and you write the value manually, -s, or instead of s you can write stylize and then space the value, let's say 100. Even though you selected 350 here, the value that you wrote here in the text box will supersede or will take the prominence in the output, and it will set the value as 100. Okay, weirdness. So weirdness is something like, as the name suggests, introduce quirky qualities to your generated images, resulting in unique and unexpected outcomes. Usually it is used for people who want to experiment, who are not creating probably a very professional thing, or maybe are in the very initial stages of just exploring the possibilities of their ideas, and they want to have some quirkiness or some edge in it, and we probably will test it out. Then variety, as the name suggests, it influences how varied because we create every time four images. So having high variety will give you four very different images of the same concept. So let's test it out. Maybe I think yeah, let's use this, and then I put the variety value as uh, it has 0 to 100 value. So let's go for 30. Style maybe 150, and let's run this prompt again. I hope we don't have any style reference. Yeah, and same prompt I will run. You can reuse the same. If you click on use, it will not only just select the prompt but also these values. So let's click on use, and this time maybe change. And yeah, the variety is also determined by the keyword called chaos. Okay, so if we create the chaos or change the chaos to 90, the value does create a high difference in the output. Now when we put the chaos as 30, you can see all the four images are so distinct and so different and so varied from each other. Now as we have pushed the value to 90, we are going to see even more quirky and sort of weird result, as the name suggests, even though we were just simply asking a girl wearing a bandana, daytime, suburban New York. So okay, this is a kid. This is a very topical or very sort of weird but not very comforting kind of an image. Of course, this is also something. She's not wearing bandana. She's not even. The time is not the daytime. It doesn't look like daytime, and this is such a close-up that we did not ask for. So this is how it affects. So now we probably have to have the value as 0. Weirdness. Okay, let's go with weirdness. Weirdness has a very high value of like 0 to 3000. So let's try 3600 and generate the same image. Okay, let's see. So now you will see we have weird as 600 and aspect ratio and everything else is same. I will click on use and run another prompt and reduce the value of weird to 100. So we will see how different the results are when we select the value or put the values 100 for weird and when the value is 600. Okay, and weirdness brings the quirky qualities into the generated images, resulting in unique and unexpected outcomes. So yeah, so I don't think it looks bad. The girl is wearing the bandana. It's probably daytime. I'm not sure. It's because it's black and white. It's daytime. This is also interesting. Yeah, okay, cool. So we can see that this image still aligns more or less with our prompt, and because the value of weird is not very high, so it's fine. This one is very different from each other, and most of the time like the back pose. So yeah, I think that sort of covers what I'm trying to talk about. Let's cover these things or these features. So again, personalization, as we have discussed, you can turn it off, turn it on. You click on P and it will turn on. If you click on P again, it will be turned off, and you can turn it on and off from here as well. You can rate images, as I mentioned, to activate your personalization, but you can rank even more images to make your personalization even much powerful, because you are giving data to Midjourney, and the more images that you sort of rank or rate, Midjourney will understand your taste much better. Okay, so that's about P, and this is draft mode. So you can create, when you use a draft mode, it will create images much faster with a lesser quality. Like it will create images 50% faster. Like, so let me just reuse this thing, rerun this, reuse this and then run it. And this time, because draft mode is activated, this image should create in 50% or half the time. And you can see already like it's done. Okay, if I turn off the draft mode again, select use this and without the draft mode and run it, you will see this image will take at least 10 seconds or 7 seconds. By this time, our image, if it was in the draft mode, would have been generated. However, the standard mode is the standard mode. It takes its time. It takes its good 6 to 10, 12 seconds. And that's also not a very long time. But if let's say you want to save hours or your uh, tokens or your time in Midjourney, your fast hours, you can use draft mode. And also you are exploring, you are just testing things out. I think even I don't use draft mode heavily, but now when I'm talking to you guys, I feel like it should be a good space that I should explore. Okay, now this is a conversational mode. Here you can you don't have to even like write a good prompt like, can you create an image of a girl wearing a bandana in New York? And it is using AI to make sense of your question or your requirement. And you see that I asked it a question and it turned into a good prompt. Okay. A girl wearing a bandana standing in bustling New York City street, urban setting, skyscraper and traffic, blah 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 blah. And it wrote a very good prompt. Okay. And it will probably create image that is much more much better than what I was trying to create, because I wrote a very simple 3-4 letter 3-4 word prompt. Okay, so that's that. Now I think we can also cover, okay, let's just quickly look at these images. Okay, this is fine. This is very realistic. Okay, so it also went into so many different types of style. Okay, so let's check this out. And this is voice mode, so I can also probably try to give a demo of this. Hey Midjourney, can you create an image of a girl wearing a bandana in London? Okay, so you can see. Can you also create an image of a person jumping from the Empire State Building and he is performing the Red Bull skydiving competition? So yeah, I'll just turn it off because I just wanted to give you an experience and exposure of what we can do with a lot of other options that are available in Midjourney, just to prompt, just to create images. You don't have to just always type. You can use draft mode to do things quickly. You can use conversational mode to just converse, ask question or write basic things, and it will create a very popular, not popular, powerful and capable prompt. And you can use your voice to even say things, and it will create the image. So that's pretty cool, right? And now I think there is a search button which will probably is useful to search your images among your images, or you can use a search and explore also to search like random image, like for example um, Red Bull, and you will see a bunch of images that people might have created using the word Red Bull in their prompt or somewhere. So this is Red Bull, this is Red Bull, Red Bull. So yeah, let's go back to create, and I think this is the folder which will probably take you to the organize. It does not, but yeah, you can create folders, right? Okay. uh, New folder. Okay, I think I can drop images here. Okay, there you go. I'm not sure about this thing. Okay, so that's that. We have to talk about edit. So let's say we want to edit this image. Before we go to edit, I think we have yet to cover this section, and edit also lives somewhere here. So here you can see there are creative actions. Okay, and there is more options. So you click on more options, you can see most of the things are already ticked. I can click on pan also, and pan and zoom, and you will see everything is ticked. So all the options Midjourney offers under the creation action are here. Now let's say this is the image, or maybe I want to go with this image. Okay, so you can see there is an option called vary. So there is a there are two options within vary, which is subtle and strong. So as the name suggests, if you want to recreate the similar image with slight variation or subtle variation, you will click on this. I'll click on this and I will also click on strong, and we will see the results. Okay. Before by the time it generates, we will be able to cover a couple of things. So let's cover the other options. Upscale, as the name suggests, if you like this image, you can create the upscaling, or you can upscale an image in two ways. There are two modes. One is called subtle and another one is called creative. We will do that as well. So I've clicked on it. So there is another option called remix. So build upon this image by creating a similar one with a new or updated prompt. Now why do we need remix? So let's try to do that. Remix subtle, and when we clicked on subtle, we saw that we are seeing that our prompt that we used initially is here. Okay, so let's say we want to create this same image, but we want to change few things. So instead of London, let me put Spain, or maybe Barcelona. Okay, and instead of this, what is famous in Barcelona? Is some church. I forgot the name of the church. Okay, so let's run this image and see the remix, but we have to check vary, subtle and strong. So let's go to create, because we have a bunch of images that we have to check out. So variation, the subtle variation gives us the same image, the variation of this image, which is not very drastic. You can see that the girl hand is somewhere close to her right shoulder. I think that's right. And the background of Big Ben and the double-decker bus is also very much same. Now if we go to the next images, I think these are the strong one. Now the pose is very different, even slightly the style, even though one of the hands is in the same place, but you can see the outfit is also changed slightly. The filter of the image is also changed. Here the girl has changed much more. The Big Ben is on the right side, and she's slightly coming closer to the image, to the in the image. So you can see there is slight variation. Now this is the result of our upscaling. This is subtle upscale, and this is the creative one. So sometimes you will want to go for subtle, and sometimes you want to go for creative. I usually go for creative only when I need to fix some very minute detail in the original image, and I don't want to do that manually. Creative upscaling sometimes fix it, but if I don't want any changes or very little changes in the upscaled image, I go for the subtle. That's my golden rule. Okay, now this is the result of remix. So the girl is changed. We have the church, famous church of Barcelona in the background. Okay, but the girl is wearing the bandana, and the girl has changed. So as you can see, we will use very subtle and strong option when we want to keep most of the things similar, but change a few things here and there, or maybe have a slight variation, but let Midjourney control that. In remix, we have the capability to change that. Okay, yeah. The pan. Okay, so pan is, as the name suggests, panning left, panning up, panning down, panning left, panning right are the four options that we get. So panning up will create a portion of the image that doesn't exist, but it will add on the top of it. So if let's say we are not able to see the legs of this girl, I will click on pan down. Once I clicked on pan down, something is getting created. Okay, if I click on pan up, it will add, already this image has this much above her head, but now it will add another layer or another section. It will push the image or add a detail to the image slightly on the upper end, maybe add extra layer on top of the existing image. So it will make sense once we have created this. Okay, so this is the result of panning down. So we were able to see until the waist of this girl in the original image, as you remember, right? But here now we can see her jeans, her shorts, yeah, so this is the result of panning down, and it can be a useful feature that you might want to explore. Panning up, adding extra part on the top, and it was probably not relevant for this image, but just to show you the result or the difference, I went for it. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so what are the other options we can explore? Zoom, as the name suggests, 1.5x. So it will just make the okay, let me show you. So it will, even though 1.5x seems like zooming in, it will probably zoom out. Okay, so it is like 50% zoom out, and 2x means 100% zoom out. So already what you see is, let's say it is x, so now you will be able to see 2x. You may, so now Midjourney will have to uh, work to create this much detail, or like uh, I don't know how to describe it. I'll show you. Okay, so this is the result of 1.5x. So now you see there is a girl here, and there is more details on the left, and then on the right, on the top. So this is the result of your 1.5x, and this is the result of your 2.2x. Okay, cool. So let's go back. We have more. So if you want to rerun the same prompt, you can do that. And here there we have edit. So we click on edit, and it will take us to the edit tab or edit section. Now we also have use. So the thing that we have discussed here of okay, I'll just go through this. I'm sorry. Okay, we have to turn off the conversation mode. Sorry. Okay, so we have just done one thing. Like in conversation mode, we cannot use style, or we cannot add images as the reference. So that's good. I was going to talk about this thing, use. So use is the same thing. Like you can use directly this image as the image reference or the style reference, or both, or as a prompt. So we just copied the prompt. Now there is some other features also. If we go outside, maybe, oh sorry, I just clicked on something, I have to cancel it. So you can cancel also. How do you do that? Just click on cancel. You can also hide the image, you can also rerun, you can also copy, and all the things that we have already discussed. So let me quickly open this. As I cannot see the other options down there, let me do this. I'll try to hide a couple of things. Okay, so now we have animate image. So we can create videos. The animation simply means creating 4 or 5 seconds of animation, and you can auto, meaning automatically Midjourney will figure out like what kind of video it creates. It can have high motion and low motion, and you are giving it instruction in terms of like the motion or the speed of the things that are happening in the video. But you can also loop, which is like, okay, just click on loop and click on auto low motion. You can also do manually. Like you can also, loop simply means it will create a 5-second video where maybe after 2 or 3 seconds the scene will probably repeat itself, or it will keep on looping itself. The end will connect with the starting. It is as simple as that. And animate manually will give you sort of a space where this image will jump here, okay, as the starting frame. Your prompt will come here, and now you can, instead of like writing the same prompt, you can do something else, like the girl comes closer to the camera and makes a victory sign, something like that. And you have the option to add an ending frame, which can be another image of the same person in a different pose or whatever, and you want to end the video on that pose. Or you don't have to add it, and you can select the motion as high, low. Maybe I'll go for high and just click enter, or just click on that. So now we have 3 things that we want to check out, and usually this takes a lot of time because videos take maybe a minute or 2 sometimes. So let's wait for that. So our videos are generated. So this is the first video, which was a loop. As you can see, is represented. So as you can see, this video is ending on this end frame, and then we are going back to our first frame. So that's loop. Okay, let's go to the other image. Oh, sorry, the other video. So this is our video, which is also automatic, but we suggested here as slow motion. Then we had this other video that we created with high motion, and we mentioned the girls come closer to the camera and makes a victory signal. So she did not make a victory signal, but she does come closer. So it can work sometimes exactly the way you want, and sometimes it may not. But yeah, this is your manual mode where you are controlling the output. Okay, cool. So this is what we were trying to cover, like these sections over here, which are just left with the edit. So let's say we want to edit this image. So let's click on edit, and edit again. You will notice that when we clicked on edit, we did not jump onto the edit section. And why it is that? Because this is not the whole or the full edit section. You can make minor edits here, but there is a lot of difference with this, or maybe not a lot of difference, but subtle difference or significant difference with the full edit tab or full edit feature. So let's click on that, because I don't want to waste your time here, and I will always suggest that you open the full editor section. So we are now in the editor or edit section, and in the top you will see there are two options, edit and retexture. So if I hover over if I hover on this option, you will see that retexture will change the contents of the input image while trying to preserve the original structure. So what does it mean? So let's test that out as well. Okay, so let's just, because we are talking about it, so I will just write a girl wearing a bandana inside a luxurious spa. I don't know. Okay, so by definition the retexture is trying to change the, okay, it's not happy with this. So instead of luxurious spa, luxurious hotel, ballroom, yeah, whatever. Banana, but okay. You can run multiple iterations also. As you can see, I made changes to the word bandana, and it is running this iteration or the generation. The previous one gave us these outputs. So now if you notice, our original image was this. Okay, this was our original image, and this is the result of retexture. So it is changing the contents of the image. However, the geometry or the structure, or let's say the perspective, is very much similar. And this is a very bad example that I gave, but okay, let's go back and change the prompt. Girl wearing a bandana inside in front of Empire State Building in the year 1990. I am not sure whether Empire State Building was there in the year 1990, but let's do that. And maybe we can remove weird also for once and reduce this to 0 so that it doesn't capture the value of weird. Anyways, you see, this is our original image, this is our output, and the aesthetic and the colors and everything has changed, but the structure of the image, where the girl is still here, there is a lot of white space or empty space which was also there in our image. It is a good observation, you should thank me for that. And also here also there is 1990s weird blah blah blah. Here also the girl is down there, and the building is there, and the girl's composition, and all the composition have the girl at the bottom center. So this is a retexture. Let's go back to edit. So let's say this is the image now that we want to edit, and I don't like this section, this bar. So I'll just, even the hack that I go for is like clear. Even I write clear, and Midjourney is so intelligent that even if I'm not saying that clear this part, even writing random or very basic things can fix that portion of the image that you don't like. So I just wrote clear, and it will add this thing. Like, definitely clear doesn't mean that, but Midjourney is smart enough to understand or to build something that goes along with the rest of the image. So this is what I usually go for to fix a certain part of the image, and that's the edit section is all about in a nutshell. Now the other things is like move, resize. So you can remove this image, and if you want to create a portion of it in this empty portion, because our image will anyways, the image that we will be creating will be within this whole space. For now, the generated image that we created earlier is occupying 100% of it, but let's say you don't like, you want to add something to the left side of this image. So maybe and you are happy with sacrificing this much of the right hand side. So let's just write New York. Even writing New York, which is not great, you can definitely define something like a food truck on the left hand side, or a person of Asian ethnicity standing next to the girl, blah 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 blah, and it will do that most likely. Okay, so I just wrote New York and the image got created. Now let's say you want to change the orientation. Let's say you want to make 16 ratio 9. So now you know that you have a lot of empty space on the right and the left. So let's run that. Midjourney will smartly figure out what it should add on the right side and the left side, while still making sure that the image looks cohesive or looks like it was initially in this particular format. Sometimes it can mess up, so I think you might see some weird things here and there, but I don't think it's very drastic. This is also fine. This is okay, and this probably might be the best of a bunch of these. Now there is a paint one where you can like just paint over this, and again you have an area. Now you're telling that Midjourney, any of the things that I'm mentioning in the prompt here should only work on this section. A neon sign saying this is how you write text in Midjourney, by putting them in the double quotes. So it's not definitely the case that the hello will be written, because Midjourney is not great with text at the moment, but I think hello is not a very long sentence or very drastic thing that it cannot manage. So we'll see. So it wrote something like hello, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it failed. Anyways, this is the purpose of the paint option, where you have a brush which you can use to paint. And if you click Command Z or Control Z, the painting that you did will be removed. Then there is Smart Select. Smart Select is just using AI to select certain part of the image. So if I click, so we have this kind of a cursor now. So if I click on this girl, it should be able to cover or capture her, but maybe this time it just analyzed or covered her top. So let's try to change the top to a girl wearing Levi's t-shirt, Levi's white t-shirt, and yes, yeah, okay. When you select it, you have to also erase the selection that it has made, or you can erase the background. So if I click on erase background, only the shirt will remain and the rest of the things will go. If I click on erase selection, it will go, and the Midjourney will only act or work on this area, and that's what we want. So let's see. So a girl wearing Levi's white t-shirt, the famous white t-shirt with red Levi's written on it. So hopefully it works, or maybe not, but that's the purpose of this Smart Select feature. So it's not a typical Levi's t-shirt I was thinking about, but yeah, it's fine. It's a white t-shirt anyways. So this is the edit section. You can upscale the image from here, and it will go to the create. So if I click on this upscale, I think it will be creating the image. Yeah, it's getting upscaled. Or if you go back, you can download this image if you don't want to upscale it. That's all and you can also give reference to the image reference, and you can only do two things here: image prompt, or the image as a prompt, or the image as a style reference, not necessarily the omni reference. You can't do that here in the edit. Okay, so let's go back. This is the upscaled image that is getting created. So that's all. That's the whole discussion on Midjourney. Now the important part is how to build prompts. Now you can talk about building prompts in so many ways, and everybody has their own ways of doing things. I feel that one has to be very clear about what kind of image they want to create or what kind of concept they are thinking of exploring building in Midjourney. Because if, let's say, you want to create images that are photorealistic, that looks very much real, like something that is shot via camera, you will have to use keywords or things that are associated with that type of technology or ways of doing things. If you want to create something like anime, cartoonish, you need to use language vocabulary that makes sense for creating those kind of images. Now you can use a different kind of modes. I think I forgot. Okay, one thing, like apart from these Midjourney models, there are also niji models, which are used to create images in a cartoonish anime kind of images. So let's click on that. Like click on niji 6, and I will run the same prompt that was here, and it will create niji version of the same image. Or the prompt will the niji model will understand that this is what we want to create, but it will create the girl and whole scene in an anime or cartoonish style. So let's see what we get. So as you can see, it's not photorealistic. It's not real, like real photo shot on a camera, but it has some style for it. So a lot of people love niji, and I have not explored it much because I don't create such images. But you can definitely select niji 6, which is the latest model for niji or this type of images. Yeah, and you here, I think we missed this part. That's why I'm thinking about why I did not point out niji earlier. Modes. So we have modes also. The standard mode is something that, okay, so to make you understand standard, let's test it out. I'll select standard and we'll create this image. Okay, I'll create this image, and now I will turn on the raw mode, and then again run the same image. Let's click on that, and this time it should be, you can see here we have a parameter called style raw, which means this image will have the rawness in it. Rawness or raw simply means it will give it more realistic feel. When we are using standard, we are allowing Midjourney to use its style and make the image more aesthetically cooler. As you can see, like it shows a generated image, but not like plasticky, but it has that vibe to it, like something filtered. Okay, this is also that image. Now let's look at the raw. The raw has like some imperfections and perfection and maybe some HDR feeling that style might not have, or the standard might not have. But yeah, usually people go with the raw version when they have to create photorealistic and very powerful, very high quality realistic images. Okay, and version is standard, and draft I think we have already discussed, which generates images very fast. Okay, there's more options. Covers speed. So speed is just it's just a Midjourney's way of Midjourney. You're telling Midjourney that you want images to create fast or turbo. Turbo means the credits or the fast hours that you have will run very fast. Like your credits, Midjourney credits will wipe out very fast, even though the images will be created now in like 3 seconds or 4 seconds instead of like 8 or 10. But also you will lose a lot of credits, so you have to be mindful of that. When you use relax mode, Midjourney will take like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, even 1 minute to create images, and you will not be charged your fast hours, because you can use Midjourney as much as you want. However, the fast hours are limited in each and every subscription. Video resolution SD or high definition, so you can choose which one you want to go for. I usually go for HD because I don't create a lot of videos, but if I want to create, then it should be HD, at least 480 to 720. I think HD might be 720 in this Midjourney's case. I am not sure. Video batch size, how many images videos do you want to get created in each batch? And I usually go for one, because videos burn like 10 to 15 minutes of fast hours every time you generate like 3 or 4 videos. So that's all of it. Now I was talking about prompting, yeah. So prompting, again, it will be much more wise for you to get an idea of what you want to create and what kind of niche, what kind of industry, what kind of style you are going for, and then you use that vocabulary. For example, if I want to create a photorealistic image, portrait of Frida Kahlo, I think that's the name, in 2025, shot on Sony, or maybe Canon R5, R5 or R2. I could be wrong. And let me check. Canon R series. R10 is also very expensive. R6, EOS R6. Okay, let's say Canon EOS R6 HDR, daylight, facial, pores visible, less makeup, looking in the viewer. And you can also mention some photographers, some styles of photography, portrait photography. You can also throw keywords like award-winning, portrait, and maybe reduce the style. So this will even make it more realistic, which sometimes can be very pleasing and sometimes can be very off-putting. So let's run this. So the images are generated, and this looks like a good portrait from a different angle. I did not even specify the angle, so the more details that you provide to your prompt, the more better outcomes or the results you are going to get. Okay, this is a very good quality portrait, and this is also like very raw and very real. So yeah, that's my suggestion for the prompting. And I think there can be a better tutorial or a guide I can build for deciphering or deconstructing the prompting style, and I might want to do that, but at the moment it is something that I'm very tired, and I think this covers up our beginner outlook on Midjourney, how you want to create these images, how to use this tool effectively, what are the different features available, which feature different ways of interacting with Midjourney, how to edit your images, how to upscale, how to use vary, how to use remix, how to create videos, what are the different options within the video, loop, manually and automatically, allowing Midjourney to add low motion, high motion, personalize. I think mood boards is something that we are yet to cover. So let's cover quickly mood boards. So when you go to mood board, you get an option to upload images. So let's say I want to create a new mood board. So I click on new mood board. I get an option to upload a bunch of images that might be in my system. I can add links of different images, and I can also add from the gallery of the images that I have created. Okay, so let's go back, maybe use one of the mood boards that I've already created. It's called plants. So if I click on it, I get an option. I see a bunch of images that I've added, so I can use it in my prompt. Now it will not use the mood board images as the reference, as the image reference. It will use it as a style reference, okay, as the taste. So if I go back to create, and already my mood board parameter is here, I select the same image, sorry, the same prompt, and I put the style value as 250. Images that now will get generated will have slightly different feel from the images that got created earlier, because now it has additional information of my mood board. I think we will also cover the other thing, which is the personalized. So just give me a minute on that. So you are already seeing some differences. Okay, so this was the image that was created earlier, and now the mood board images. Now we will see the mood board image. So this is the image that we have from the mood board that we have added, and this was from the without the mood board. Now this is without the mood board, so it has like Midjourney stylization, and this one with our mood board. So maybe our mood board is much more suitable for these kinds of portrait, but that depends upon your taste. I created this mood board for a purpose, like that was my intention. Now using the mood board has also changed the face of person Frida Kahlo in some cases, but I got one good image that's good enough for me. Now if I use the same prompt with my mood board and everything, and now also add my personalization, meaning turning the profile on, and I have two profiles, but let's say I want to use both the profiles, and you can see it has added okay, it was using some other mood board, but that's fine. Let's ignore that. But now I'm adding mood board plus the profile, so let's generate the same image. Okay, let's do that. So you can see our mood board is here, and also I want to double check that. So this is my profile, profile. It's already turned on. Yeah, it's already turned on, so definitely it will be applied automatically. So the image that we got earlier from just the mood board on top of our prompt was this. Okay, now we go to mood board plus the profile personalization, and this is slightly warm, and this is slightly different, which I like. She looks like a Frida Kahlo, a very young version of her, if she ever existed like this, but this is pretty cool. So yeah, that's about it. I think we can go very deep into these two particular topics, and I do want to. I think, and as I mentioned earlier, these are the things that people in the advanced or the above intermediate, that is probably advanced side of Midjourney usually explores, and I want to do that. So for now, this is what I have for you, and do let me know your feedback, your thoughts, and I might want to apologize in advance if I took a lot of time that you think that I could have covered in 15 to 20 minutes. So really sorry about it, but this is my first attempt on building such a huge or long video. Take care, have a good one.